You know what I mean? All right. Chris, you wanted to talk about
Actually, yeah. So we getting into our
Derek
topic.
Chauvin.
Oh yes,
that's what we were talking about.
That was more the trending topic.
Yeah.
So Derek Chauvin got stabbed in prison.
Mm-hmm. You feel sorry for him?
No.
See, that was it's so funny. I swear I didn't even know we were gonna talk about this, and I wore this. I can't breathe. It's so weird.
Him wearing that reminded me of this story.
Yeah, that's a sign though.
That's crazy.
But I'm actually surprised it took this long to happen. But we were having a conversation earlier off camera where it was like, do these high profile criminals, especially like police who are convicted, do they get enough protection in prison, right? I was listening to the Breakfast Club this morning, and oh man, I can't remember the lady's name there, but she was talking about there's always ways around. There's always
Chandra
ways.
Brown, I think her name is something like that. Go ahead.
Something, yeah. There's always ways around the protection, which, in my mind, helps me answer the question, what took so long? Right? Because when this story came out, I was thinking,
you're wicked.
What took so long?
You're wicked.
I thought it would happen sooner.
You're wicked.
Right?
You're wicked.
But then, like maybe he's under some crazy protection, but slowly over time, you recognize certain patterns. You make deals with people under the table or whatever. You'd be like, yo, I know you come on the 11 o'clock shift, but just maybe come 11:05 today or tomorrow type of thing, right? So I don't know, but yeah, do police officers or high profile, I guess, criminals or whatnot, high risk, do they get enough protection in penitentiary? And is it possible to get enough protection in penitentiary?
I don't even know how those things work, but I would imagine that if you're former law enforcement, then you are going to be specialized in some way, right? They probably have a special unit for you.
I would have thought so too. I would have thought they had a special
right.
section.
So we don't know who stabbed them. It could also be another police officer.
That's true too.
You see what I mean? But the thing is, for me, and my stance on violence. You see what I mean? I don't like violence. I think when I'm involved in violence, I start trembling. Like I get nervous. Like it's not my thing. Huh? What?
We need it.
The world need violence?
Yes.
Need?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know.
Because there's some wicked people out there.
That's a different. We're veering off to different.
We need violence. This is our deep and fuckery topic. At the same time.
The world needs violence.
So, in some aspects.
I disagree with that. I think violence.
Some people have to. I forget it. Yeah.
I think violence is necessary, but I don't think the world needs it. They're two different things.
Well, that's true. All right.
So is that what you wanted to say?
No, we need it.
So can you say it for me to hear?
We need
say it for me to hear.
I'm not going to say that. We need it in some situations.
Okay, so violence is necessary, but we don't necessarily need it.
No.
Can you say that?
We need it in some situations. Go ahead.
This episode is going to be called Need Necessary.
Hold on, take a sip.
All right. So, I'm not a big proponent of violence. I'm also not a proponent of non-violence. I'm not a pacifier. But I think when I saw the news, I think I saw it when I was in the gym, and I saw it on CP24. Derek Chauvin was stabbed. I was like, oh my God, yeah. You were happy? Of course.
Why?
I was happy because I don't know Derek Chauvin. I've never met him, right? And I just have to go off this feeling that media helped me to garner. Right? Oh, that's no pun intended. Eric Garner, you get it? I can't read. You get it? No? Okay. All right. So the media showed me. The media showed me Derek Chauvin kneeling on George's neck, right? And he was helpless. I think he was handcuffed. Was he handcuffed? Mm-hmm. And he was saying, "I can't breathe." Mm-hmm. Right, and he did it, and he was like, he seemed so like matter of fact when he was doing, like, mm-hmm. Like I'm chilling in my zone, mm-hmm. And that gave me this hatred for him, even though I don't know him, which is weird, but the media caused that. You see what I'm saying? And I'm running with it. because he's white and the guy that he was
Not
nailing
even the
was
media,
black.
the video that you saw.
But that's the media, though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So the narrative about him is that he's an evil person, and I don't like evil people. Now, who knows? If I met the guy could probably have his reason as to why he did it or whatever, and maybe I'd have a different. But I don't know him, and I'm just going off the way I feel, and I don't like him. So I think he was evil. I think what he did was evil, and because of that, when I saw that he got hurt, it gave me satisfaction.
So him
Does that make me evil?
No. So him doing the time.
It wasn't enough. No.
As they said, justice was served.
No,
so
I
him
don't think
doing the time doesn't satisfy.
No,
the
not to
black
me.
community. Doesn't
Not to me.
satisfy you
Not to
guys.
me.
I mean,
no.
that's a good question. If just the time alone, the sentence alone is satisfactory, or if you want sentence plus. Now, I would say, although there's a little bit of satisfaction from the stabbing, I would say it's good that he didn't die, because dying, and who knows what's on the other side of life, right? But dying,
it seems final.
It just seems like a cop-out.
But that's what I was saying.
It's like a cop-out,
So
right?
you guys would prefer him not to die, but
Not
suffer.
to die and still do the 22 years he's supposed to do. And if he gets beat up here and there throughout those 22 years, then so be it, right? As long as he doesn't die, because he needs to feel that. He needs to feel like, who knows what the world is going to look like in 22 years. You get outside and you're fucking flying cars and you're like, yo, what kind of world is this? Like, you know what I mean? People who come out of prison now that were in prison from the 90s, they're coming out like, yo, what's all this social media, Instagram,
Right.
what the fuck is going on?
I hear people
Right?
talking about that. It's crazy.
Exactly. So he needs to feel that. I think he needs to feel that, and I'm okay with a level of violence. I'm okay with a level of violence if it's a beat down, a stabbing, just don't kill him. Just don't kill him.
Okay.
So you prefer him to get a little
Suffer.
beat here, suffer, while doing the time.
So violence with savory.
So while doing the time, he might get some beat up along the way.
A broken orbital bone. You know what I mean? Like,
Jesus Christ.
every now and then you get a
So
broken nose.
it's safe to say that you guys will feel better if he gets a stab here and there more than actually.
So for
I wouldn't
me,
say
that's-
I wouldn't say like like
No,
if you
that's
just
not what I'm
does
saying.
the-
No, I'm saying. No,
okay,
what I'm
now
saying.
you're making us like a sadist.
No, let me finish.
Okay.
I'm saying, would you guys feel better if he gets a beat up here and there, a little stab here and there, rather than him just dead?
Yes, if it's over death, yes.
Yes, that's the question I
But
would
if he
ask.
just did his time and like nothing happened to him, I would feel satisfied as well too.
Okay.
Me personally, I can't speak for everybody else.
So this is my point of view. To be
POV.
honest, I didn't really think about Derek Chauvin, right? And I think that's a part of the satisfaction also. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, this guy, and he got stabbed. Okay, good. If I was to hear that he got stabbed tomorrow again, I'd be like, okay, what's going on now? You know what I mean? So I think for me, there's some diminishing returns there where I can only cheer for evil, but so much. So this stabbing felt good. I can't lie about it. But I don't know about the next stabbing or the next stabbing or the next stabbing. You know what I mean? Because at some point we're like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Like, he killed the man. He got his sentence. He got stabbed. What are we really doing? You know what I mean? At some point it becomes sadistic. At some point it becomes where hatred is taking us over. And I've experienced that myself. That's a terrible thing.
Oh, you
When you
experienced
wallow into hate.
You
see what I'm
hated
saying?
somebody?
Huh?
You hated
Of course
somebody?
I've hated people before.
No,
What
I'm
you
saying
talking
you
about?
wallowed into it by hating somebody.
I've
that
hated
bad?
people before.
Okay.
And I've also
Been on the receiving end?
harbored anger to the point where I felt like it was taking me over.
Was it a relationship?
Relationships, not relationships, guys who just did bullshit, like, you know what I mean, like all kinds of stuff. So, but I've you know, I'm at the point now where I could see it. I'm like, that's not a good thing. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want it to be where all of us become that way. You see what I mean? But that one stabbing, yeah, I was good about it. That felt good.
Jesus. Listen, if you agree with what happened to the officer,
Derek Chauvin. I know you're running away from saying his name, you know. Okay, can you say it one time?
Derek, DC. Leave a
Not
comment.
Chocolate City.
Leave a comment. All right. We were talking about this place that you went to, and I'm asking you, please. Yes, take a deep breath. You follow me, Chris? You went to a place called
Halifax, man.
Halifax. It's is it a city?
You don't know Halifax?
I'm just asking.
Like, stop it. I'm not explaining nothing. Stop it.
Bro, because I know you. When you start getting into it, you're gonna act like it's a different country, bro.
It's well, you know what's so funny? Okay, you want me to get into
No,
it?
please.
You want me to get into it?
Don't go too deep in that. Just
Okay,
please.
all right.
So my brother here went to Halifax, ladies and gentlemen. Halifax is here in Canada, and you have some.
What province is Halifax in?
I have no idea. I'm not gonna lie to you. Nova Scotia. Okay. She helped me out, girl.
That's terrible.
I love you, girl.
Do you know how many provinces we have?
1, 2, 3. No. I'm not Canadian.
I see you with a Canadian passport.
I am not Canadian. Exactly.
That is fair.
Exactly. Go
That
ahead.
tone of voice. I'm not Canadian.
Okay, hold on.
Just
How many,
Jesus.
how many
Are we on a
provinces do we
Q&A
have?
right now about Canada?
I'm just asking.
I don't know. Ask me about Jamaica.
Guess.
How many parish Jamaica have?
Jamaica don't have province.
No, I said parish, brother.
Okay, how many parishes Jamaica have?
14 plus 1.
What?
Yo, carry on with that.
No. What does that mean? What the hell does that mean? Explain.
Because they have Kingston and St. Andrew in one. If you understand.
Wouldn't that be 13 plus 1?
Jesus Christopher. Yo, carry on.
He
Carry
might
on.
have you there.
Carry on.
No, I'm just asking.
Carry on. Do you hear about Portmore and St. Catherine?
Yes. What?
Okay. Where's Portmore?
Portmore is in St. Catherine.
Okay. Do you know that people consider Portmore a parish?
People like you? Yeah, sure.
All right. As long as you know.
People like you would do
As
that.
long as so Halifax is in Nova Scotia.
Portmore has no hospital.
Yeah, they do.
Where is it?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Anyways, we digress. probably the hole that people go throw people in from your community.
That's at a hospital. Stop this.
Anyways, so yeah, I did go to Halifax. Halifax is in Nova Scotia.
Yes, I said.
Well, after being helped.
Yeah, of course. Girl,
And when I was going to Halifax, I was thinking, because I met people, being in Toronto, I met people from Halifax. Most of the people that I met from Halifax are people from Nova Scotia, are people from Halifax, and most of them are black, or at least mixed or whatever, right? So I'm thinking, Halifax is pretty diverse. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to see a lot of diversity. I knew it was rich in history, but I didn't quite understand the history, right? So when I was going there, you know, we got to the airport. First of all, the airport is damn far from the city. It doesn't make no sense. It's like 35 minutes from the city.
Oh.
Right. So we're driving we're driving in to Halifax, and then we got to Halifax, and the first glaring thing was like, where's the people of color? There's no people of color. It's all white people all the time. I was like, what is going on here? I don't understand. What is going on here? I don't get it. Like, I thought in my mind, I thought there was a lot of diversity in Halifax. It's not. It's not diverse at all. So I got to the hotel. It was white people. We went to get food. It was just all white people serving. Walking on the road, it's just, I'm like, this is crazy. So anyways, you know, I went there for a conference. We got to the conference, whatever. On the last day, so I told you that I've met people here who are from Halifax, and they're always telling me about down home. That's what they call it. You know, down home. So I'm like, okay.
What do they call down home? Halifax?
Yeah, they're from North Preston.
Okay.
So I wanted to see down home. So I called, you know, I made my calls, and Veli, big up to Veli. Veli came to pick me up, and he drove me around. While he was driving me around, he's telling me the history of what's going on in Halifax, right? So we started driving from Halifax, and the hotel that we stayed at was by this place called Purdy's Wharf. Like, Halifax is on the ocean, right? So it's all wharf. Everything's a wharf. So Purdy's Wharf is this huge place that's there, and then there's some industrial complexes around there and all that. And we started driving, and immediately we hit this place that used to be called Africville, right? So he's telling me about Africville and what happened. So back in the days, I can't remember the dates. I don't want to mess up the dates. But back in the days, what happened was the Maroons that we were talking about when Akon was here, they came from Jamaica to Halifax. Harriet Tubman and those people, they had the railroad thing. So a lot of Americans ran away to Halifax.
The Underground Railroad.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they had some natives, some indigenous people who were dark-skinned, right, who could pass as black people, who were also in Halifax.
Yeah.
So all these people settled in this little area, and they called it Africville, right? Now, because the area that they settled in was in the middle of the city, right? And the ocean is right there, so they had this idea of building a city on the ocean where they can, benefit from the industrialization that's going on with the ships and all that trading and all that, right? So they decided they're going to move these people, right? What they did was, I guess they were giving them warnings or whatever, trying to entice them to go other places. People didn't want to go. Some people went, some people didn't want to go. They came with bulldozers, bro, and bulldozed the whole city.
Yeah.
To the point where right now there's a trailer in the middle of all the buildings that they have of one black guy. I forget his name. Oh my God, I wanted to remember his name. He's still there protesting. He's not moving.
Oh shit.
And they're
Black
not
guy?
black guy, yeah, older guy. He's almost dead now, but he's the last one there.
Yeah. I remember seeing a documentary about that.
Yeah, crazy. Anyways, so we're driving through and he's telling me, and there's more. So they moved some of these people to a place called Uniacke Square, right? Uniacke Square is like a project down on the bottom side of the hill. Because the way Halifax is set up is it's like you go from the ocean and it goes up a hill. Uniacke Square is like down here close to the ocean, away from the city a little bit, right? So some people are in Uniacke Square, and then we're driving to so there's North Preston and there's East Preston. We went to North Preston because my friends are from North Preston. And North Preston is away from the city, up into the hills, right? It's almost like you're going to a country area. And then you can see the houses. And the way the houses are built, you could tell people just kind of just squatted on the land. Like there's no real plan as to... And when I was driving through North Preston, so the guy was driving with Veli, he's from North Preston, but he doesn't live in North Preston, right? Every single person the guy was driving by said, "Hey, how you doing? Boop, boop. Hey, how you doing?" Every house. And I was like, the last time I saw this was when I was country, when Master Joe was bringing his donkey back in 1980s, 1970s. Remember those times? I wasn't really born, but remember those times? When there was a certain kind of sense of community and a sense of belonging and a sense of friendship and family kinship. That's the last time I sensed that. I used to hear about those stories, and I sensed some of it on the tail end. That's what I sensed in North Preston, right? Anyways, and I'm telling you that for a reason. So I went to Veli's house and we chilled and I sipped some wine or whatever and we talked. I talked to his grandma was watching soap opera on the TV. His dad was there talking. Puddy's his dad, and we're talking and whatever. And then it's time for us to leave. So when we left, I went back to the hotel. So we took a cab to the airport. So I'm telling the guys in the back that I went to North Preston. The cab driver, who was an Iranian guy, just came to the country 2 years ago, right? I was telling the guys that I went to North Preston. The guy's like, where did you go? I said, North Preston. The man's like, why would you go there? So I'm like, what do you mean, why did I go there? And he's like, that's a bad neighborhood, man. Oh, my God, I wouldn't even... I'm like, have you been there? No. But everybody says it's a bad neighborhood, and I would never be caught there, And he's telling me stories about people have told him. And immediately I'm like, wow. You've never even been there.
The same
way.
way.
I'm saying,
the same way you chastise Waterford, but go ahead.
But that's what it is. It's the exact same thing. But I was there, and I was watching this guy, and I was listening to him talk, and I was reflecting on what I just went through with the neighborhood, and I was reflecting on what I just went through on the whole trip, and I'm like, this is 2023, and not much has changed. You see, Angela Davis came here, right? to give a speech. I don't even think she can come here anymore. But that was one of the last times she came here. You know Angela Davis? You know who she is? She's a black revolutionary. Right? She used to wear, when she was younger, she used to wear this big afro. I don't think she can grow the afro anymore, but she used to wear this big afro, had this, beautiful gap tooth, and she was like this passionate speaker, right? Very eloquent. I think she was affiliated with the Black Panther movement. I don't think she was a Black Panther.
She was affiliated. Right,
she was affiliated with the, but she's an educator.
Okay.
I think she was a professor somewhere before, but now obviously she says so many different things that they're not going to give her a job anymore. But she's important to the movement of Black nationalism, right? And I went to her speech, and the first thing she said, I can never forget this. She said, people ask me, why are you going to Canada? There's no racism, right? And what I say to them is that, the problem with racism is that it comes in different forms, right? And she used the word, and that's the first time I heard this word. And some people pronounce it as clandestine. Some people pronounce it as clandestine. It just really means that it's more quiet, right? Mm-hmm. And she said that's the kind of racism that Canada has, right? It's something that would creep up on you. You'll never notice it. It's subtle. It's microaggressions. It's like you're walking in the alleyway. A father's walking with his daughter, and they'll move the daughter to the other side that you're not on. Mm-hmm. And you probably minding your own business, not paying attention to that. That is microaggression. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He's assuming that the daughter is safer away from you than she is closer to you. I've personally experienced that. Mm-hmm. Microaggressions such as you're on the bus driving from Saskatoon to Regina, which I was doing, and this little girl was so fascinated by seeing me that she's like, can I see the color of your tongue? Because she assumed that the color of my tongue was different from hers. Mm. Those kind of racism. You see what I'm saying? Now, is the little girl being racist? Probably not. But she's never seen, the fascination is that, who are you? What are you? Where did you come from? Mm-hmm. Why are you so dark? You know what I mean? Those kind of things. And that's the kind of racism that we experience in Canada. That's what we've been experiencing until I went to Halifax. And I saw the bluntness of it. So there are two schools in one in Uniacke Square, and it's mostly Black people, and one in North Preston, mostly Black people. I forget if they're high schools or elementary schools. But what the guy was telling me was that those schools are at the bottom of whatever list they have of all those kind of schools in the province.
Black school.
The Black schools. And how do you expect these kids to really grow up aspiring to be something if you're not teaching them anything? You're not giving them opportunities to do anything. The community center in North Preston, right, is there, and it closes at 8:30 at night. You see what I'm saying? And it's not. And I think, according to what they're telling me, I'm not seeing this for myself. It's not open on the weekends because they don't have a proper structure to deal with it. So if you have all these black youths who have nothing to do, what do you think they're going to do? Right? You're going to believe that you're worthless. You're going to believe that the only thing I could do is pimp, because most pimps are from North Preston. Pimp, rob people, right? Tote guns or sell drugs, because that's the only thing you see people doing, right? So if you don't help people to get out of that mindset, how the hell are they going to get out of it? You see what I'm saying? At the conference, and I'll say this before I finish. I know I've been taking up a lot of space. The conference that I went to, the closing speaker was the only Black person in Senate, right? And she's from East Preston. You see what I'm saying? And this lady, I met her too, right? And this lady, I forget her name now. Why am I forgetting her name? I'm drawing blank on her name. But this lady, she gave such a powerful speech. And I could see when she was talking, I was watching the white people, because it's mostly white people, they're so uncomfortable. And she was saying some of the same things I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? And they're like, you know when you can see when someone's squirming, and I'm like, you see this? You see this? Because they don't want to hear that kind of stuff. And it's a representation of the country that we live in. Believe me. Yeah.
So you were hurt by the whole trip?
No, I was enlightened. I went there with a certain mindset. I don't know why.
Would you live there?
Halifax?
Yeah. Okay.
I'll have to get back to you. It's a beautiful city, but I don't know if I can manage. I don't know if I can manage the
segregation.
Yeah, I don't know if I can manage that right now. I don't know. The same reason why I haven't been to Saskatoon in 15 years or whatever, but when I was in Saskatoon, it was just a little bit too different for me. I like culture. You see what I mean? I like diversity, and it was just not diverse enough. Like, I just can't be bothered to be searching out oxtail. You see what I'm saying? I want to be driving to the store and go get some jerk seasening. No, for real. Like, I just can't deal with it, bro.
But you know what? A lot of Canada is like that. Quebec is worse. So outside of Montreal is very diverse, but outside of Montreal, if you speak English, they'll look at you like they want to kill you, bro. And like, people there, a lot of people outside of Montreal can actually speak English, but will refuse to. Absolutely refuse to. And they'll act like they don't understand it, right? So Quebec is bad for that. Like, Quebec, they tried to pass laws that teachers have to take off hijabs and all kind of foolishness, right? Parts of Ontario, so Ontario going into Manitoba are a lot like that. Because there's very big indigenous populations there, like Thunder Bay and Winnipeg, and then going into northern Manitoba, where there's a lot of crime against indigenous people, and that crime just goes under the rug because it's like, oh, it's happening to indigenous people. We don't, like, whatever, like, you know, to the point where I remember seeing a documentary talk about Saskatchewan, seeing a documentary where there was the story, I believe the story was one or two indigenous boys, young guys, just walking along the side of the road, a rural road, minding their own business, going home or wherever, and somebody driving by shot them dead. And I don't know if you heard about this story, if you still kind of stay connected to Saskatchewan news, but shot them dead, and they know who did it. And that person was never
brought to justice. And they know who did it. Police went to their house to go question him, type of thing. And no charges were brought up and whatnot. And it was to the point where, and this documentary happened back in 2017 or 18. I can't remember the name of it. I really wish I could remember the name of it. It opened up at Hot Docs back in 2018 or 2017. But it was to the point where the indigenous community, including the filmmakers who made the film, they went to the UN to go talk to the UN about the racism going on in Canada, and specifically in Saskatchewan, and the indigenous racism that was going on. They went to the UN. And the film ends on a note where we don't really know kind of what happened, because it's like, I guess they were still deliberating it, and I just never followed the story. But it's to that level. It's to that level where you know, you have people who are going to the UN to try to raise these human rights issues that are going on in Canada, and they're just so quietly swept under the rug so much. And because we're such a big country and we're so spread out, it's often hard to know what's going on province to province, especially if you don't normally travel to these provinces or just don't have another connection to any of these other provinces. But Canada is what's the series?
Ozark?
No,
I said Ozark.
1923. So 1923, which is a part of the Yellowstone umbrella. So I started watching 1883, and then I watched 1923, and I still have to watch Yellowstone. But there was a scene in 1923 where it would forever stick out to me. So there's a storyline in there where I believe they're in somewhere in like I want to say Montana or that kind of area, Wyoming. They're in that kind of area in the United States back in 1923. And one of the storylines is about an indigenous girl who goes to a Catholic residential school in Wyoming. Now, she escapes the school and connects with like someone who knows her father to help her like escape, because the priests are running after her, right? And she says to her, let's call it uncle figure, She says, let's go to Canada. And he's like, no, Canada's worse. And it's such like a quick line that he says in the film, and they kind of go off and say, no, we're going to go here instead because they're going to go look for you back in your community. It was such a quick line, but that stood out to me.
Powerful.
That stood out to me powerfully, especially as we're seeing the revelations of, over the last couple of years, the revelations of the grave sites at the residential schools, where Indigenous people were begging the government for decades. They were like, we know the grave sites are here, and we need to do excavations so that we can finally lay these people to rest, right? And for decades, so not even just our current government of Ontario now, but for decades, specifically to Ontario, for decades, they were like, no, you guys, like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, there's nothing there, until they went to go dig up whatever site it was for development, and they found all these bodies. And then they found like a small amount of bodies, and then as soon as they found a small amount of bodies, they had to stop and really like go and investigate and dig up even more. And that's how they found all these graves now, when people were, for like 30 plus years, were saying, no, these sites, we need to dig up these grave sites. So Canada,
they call them 60 scoop.
So what they call them? What?
60 scoop.
60 scoop.
Yeah.
Is like, because it was,
that's the name of the people who, I think, the survivors.
That's like what their generation kind of is called.
I'm not sure what the meaning is, but that's what they generalized as, the 60 scoop.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you're saying is, by the way, the senator's name, her last name is Thomas Bernard. It's two names. I think, Wanda Thomas Bernard. That's her name. And it's important to remember that, because before that conference, I never even paid attention to that. Right? But then I saw her, small person too, very, very, but very powerful. You know what I mean? I think one of the reasons for the lack of accountability for some of the things that you're talking about, some of the things that I'm talking about, is the lack of leadership. We don't really have anybody who's spearheading. You know what? We should really investigate what's going on and do this and do that. We don't have anybody. The only people we have who are leaders are people who are probably in bed with these people, or people who don't care. You see what I mean? I don't know of anybody nowadays. I know back in the days in the Toronto area, there was Dudley Laws, or whatever his name is. He used to do some stuff. But nowadays, I don't know of anybody. I know Nia Singh was doing some stuff a couple years ago, but I haven't heard anything about Nia in a while.
There's Desmond Cole.
I don't hear anything about Desmond.
Yeah.
The last thing I heard about Desmond, the last thing I saw of Desmond was he got arrested when he went to the police station and he was protesting something. I forgot what he was protesting. I used to listen to him every Sunday on the radio. I don't even think he's on the radio anymore. I haven't heard anything about Desmond. But we don't have that person who's really at the forefront. And even if Desmond is still doing stuff, I'm not hearing him.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Because I listen for that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we need someone to be at the forefront. We don't have that one or two or a group of people who are really pushing for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Speaking of the forefront, we are almost 1 hour and 20 minutes in. And damn, you guys can talk.
But it's important.
I didn't say nothing. We still can't talk.
You think you want to sleep though?
No. Listen, this is what I know.
Are you up?
I'm fully up. I'm fully up. But
okay.
But our viewers and our subscribers, we don't want to prolong our episode.
But remember, this is 2 parts.
You don't give them this is season 2, episode 1.
And episode 1 is going to be in 2 parts.
You didn't mention that to him. So exactly. I know that. But.
You know what I
mean?
mean?
So be comfortable, relax.
No. Like we've been 1 hour and almost 20 minutes in, so.
But you know what? I like
that's good.
Whether we do that now or this week, I do want to continue that topic on specifically Halifax and Nova Scotia and the Black history there as well too, because so I got I can't really speak too much on it, but I've got engaged to do a project that involves Black hockey players, and it's not Black Ice. Black Ice is a great documentary, and Anybody who hasn't seen it, go check that out on Crave. So it would be something different from Black Ice. But as I've been researching the history of hockey in Canada, and specifically black hockey in Canada, it goes back a long time. And it's to the point where I'm like, the same black indigenous that you were talking about, I forgot the name of the tribe, but a lot of people credit them for creating what is known as modern day hockey, right?
Right.
And a lot of people credit black people, African black people, for modernizing the game of hockey. So the way the goalie can go down on their knees, which created the butterfly style, like in the white leagues, they couldn't do that.
Pause. Big pause.
the way the slap shot was invented. That slap shot started in black hockey leagues before they were ever in white hockey leagues, right? And a whole bunch of other things that are commonplace in today's game. And as I'm watching and researching, I'm like, because it's always told that hockey's a white game and blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, you know what? Hockey is our game that we need to reclaim, because we look at basketball as a black game, but it was created by a white Canadian, and it just got popularized by black people and modernized by black people. But we have such a strong history in hockey that is so buried and has only...
And we're pushed out of it.
What's that?
And we're pushed out of it.
Exactly. We're pushed out of it. And it's only just coming to light really and truly in the mainstream in the last, let's say 4 or 5 years. It's just coming to light. And a lot of that history lies in Nova Scotia and in Africville. A lot of the teams were named after, certain markers of the Underground Railroad and these types of things, right? So we could talk about that more on the next level, on the next episode. I mean,
are you going to do that documentary?
If we can get it funded, if we can get it funded, can get it funded. So I can't speak too much on it yet. When I can, I will. But it's a documentary I'm really excited about.
There is a documentary right now called NP's Finest, and it's about some guys from North Preston, right?
You're still on Halifax, bro?
Huh?
You're still on Halifax?
Why should we get off? No, I'm just saying that's a good documentary to check out. NP's Finest.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
You know what I mean? I seen one of my friends with the tattoo on his neck, and I was like, yo, I saw that documentary. I don't know why I started him, but Dice, big up Dice, and Dice was saying, bro, I started this whole thing. You know what I mean? I had this tattoo first, and people are making it out into a criminal organization, but I don't know what they're talking about because I'm here. You know what I mean? I've never killed anybody. I've never robbed anybody. I'm here. It's just a group of us, and we're friends, and we're brothers, and we're cousins, and we just do our thing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, NP's Finest.
I think you should put Halifax in one of the countries you travel to. Because you're so passionate about that. All right, with that being said, oh my God.
Well, hold on. Wait. Are you trying to close out the whole thing?
Yes, I'm going to close it off right now.
But Chris had something that you don't have anything to say?
About this topic? Or
no, your topic that you wanted to talk about.
Oh, yeah. So, we haven't got to it. You know this is just this topic.
We're talking for an hour and 23 minutes right now. I mean, I live far. What are you talking about?
Who told you to live in the boonies?
What the hell? Listen, guys, episode 2 is coming up shortly. Chris Strikes, my brother, we have to wrap up right now. Okay? With that being said, thank you guys so much. Please share, like, and subscribe. Big guys.
But you listen, say that properly, man.
No, that's what I'm saying. Big
okay,
guys,
listen.
Yeah.
I'm really sad because I wanted to hear Chris Strikes' topic. But fine, you have to go. You have to go home. And it sucks that we're only ending at an hour and 24 minutes. You know, I could go on for another 2 hours, but it's okay. But we thank you for your support that you've given us so far.
100.
You know, as I said, you know, it's the fans who put people in the God complex.
Jesus.
You see what I mean?
Yo, bro, stop saying that, man.
It's true. Fans, but fans are needed. If we put content out there because we just want to share. We want to share with the world. You know what I mean? If 2 people view it, we're appreciative. If 100 people view it, we're still appreciative. But please subscribe, right? Please like, please share. That's how this content gets popularity, and it builds. Well, it throws us into the algorithm of things, so people can view us more. So we can, we can. What you saying? Comment at the bottom. Yeah, comment at the bottom. Yeah. So do all that. Do all the good things.
Comment in the comment section, guys.
Do all the good things, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Basically, what Damion is saying is support us, be our fans. Don't worry if we do any fuckery. You will not be held responsible for it indirectly.
Yo.
Yes, and if you disagree with me,
well said.
comment at the bottom.
Sweet and spicy. Quick out bar. Wrap up. Away. Until next time. Peace.
Deep.Organic.Phuckery.